Welcome back to the Matrix. You're not to the Matrix, you are the Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. How's everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know down in the comments down below. Let's get this party started. All right. As of the time of recording, Bitcoin currently sitting at $114,596. And I've really thought about this a lot and sort of processed things a lot. And, you know, everyone wants to know, like, where do we go from here, Ski? After the dust has settled, one of the biggest, you know, black swans in history, literally, truly, verily, verily, I say unto you, 10 years of being in this space, this was the biggest black swan that I remember, for sure. This one takes the cake. Bigger than FTX, bigger than C19, bigger than Luna, bigger than Mt. Gox, bigger than all of them. This is big. So where do we go from here? And how do we count these big, giant, you know, liquidations that put in a lower lower? Does that, or a lower low? Does that break the structure? What does that mean? And, you know, after some time, I've really processed this, and this is what I think. So when you look at Bitstamp, the exchange, there's no leverage on this exchange. And before you're like, oh, he's cherry picking. This is my trade the news, you will lose chart. I've been using this for years. For years, I've been using this chart. But there's no leverage on this account. And I think that's an important note because the bigger thing at play here was sort of an exploitation or a bug, if you will. But on this chart, it's just a higher low for Bitcoin, which is very interesting. All it is a higher low. And if $19 billion of liquidation cannot put a lower low for Bitcoin, I don't know what can. And listen, there's not 19 billion to be liquidated again, I can assure you. Okay? At least not right now. So we got extremely oversold on the 5-hour chart. In fact, more oversold than we just were, which was the most that we were since April. So this is very low over here on the 5-hour chart. We got all the way to 15. The fear and greed was in the 20s. So I think that the 28-day low is already in for sure. We already said this, you know, after the Black Swan happened. I tweeted this out. But I think bare minimum, we're going to get to the 618 Fibonacci retrace. 118, 119,000, and then we can reevaluate. And, you know, one of two things it means for Bitcoin. Either we're going to get a retrace, we're going to roll over, and that was the beginning of the end. Or that was the spring to spring us into the next leg higher. And the more that I sit, the more that I process, the more that I lean towards that. Bitcoin Dominance is a peculiar one as well. We look at, you know, the swing high to swing low here. This nailed the 618.5 Fibonacci retrace. And then we got rejected, and we got rejected hard. So again, like, do we count this big wick here, or what does the actual structure look like? Because the actual structure has already taken out this low, and we're flirting with the first bigger macro lower low with Bitcoin Dominance. So we're talking 0.5%, less than 0.5% to put in a macro lower low. While all this is happening, BNB, the bad guys, they put in a new all-time high today. Not like new all-time high from here. Nope. Just straight up all-time high. That was today. $191 billion. Or, you know, $1,200. What did we get up to? $1,370. A new all-time high already for BNB. So BNB doesn't seem to care. Like, we had this big event, backtesting the 200 on the 5-hour, and then violently finding it as support. And now I've already put in a higher high. Insanity. One thing that we were talking a lot about as well was the Russell 2000. Okay, and I showed you this chart over here, this fractal from the C19 crash, right? And I'm going to show you the whole macro thing before we like zoom in here. And we've shown how this has been following this almost perfectly to a T. And you might be like, well, Ski, what about this Black Swan, though? There was this massive, liquidation to the likes we've never seen. I would agree to that. But I'm going to show you this fractal that, I already made the case before any of this happened that it was following. Okay, so this isn't something I'm just like bringing up today. If you remember, I was already talking about this before the Black Swan event happened. Okay, but look at this. Look at this candle here. So we know that this was like the same. Let's go on the daily here. This was the same crazy liquidation event, right? Look at this. What do you see right there? Does everyone see that? That's insane. Like, it's the same size. Look at this. That is actually crazy. The literal same size candle here on the Russell was placed. And we were already talking about how this is following this fractal. Now, that I predicted we were going to this crazy Black Swan that wipes out $19 billion. No, absolutely not. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like that. Not for a second. But, so the more that time goes on, the more that I really think, I laid out when it happened. I said it either is marking the beginning of the end or it's a spring that is going to launch us to the next leg. I got to be honest, guys. I don't want to be a hopeless romantic here. But I got to be honest. I think that that's what it is. And we hear a lot about, shake out to get the weak hands out before you go higher. I mean, this was the most violent that I've ever seen it do it. But you definitely can make the argument that that's what would happen. So let's talk about what, I'm not just going to be a hopeless romantic here. I'm going to give you a bear case to look out for, and I'll give you a bull case to look out for. So this is what would concern me if Bitcoin came up to the 618, came down, starts creaking down, and then puts in a lower low. That would be not good. That would signal to me that this is distribution. This would be your selling climax. This would be your up thrust. This would be UTAD. And then this right here would be your LPS. Okay, so that's my bear case. That's what I'm going to be looking out for. If we see something like that, that's not good. Okay. So I'm not just going to just come on here and just give you pure hopium and it's all up only. There's no downside, nothing. No, I'm not going to do that. That's what I'm going to be looking for Bitcoin specifically to signal things. Same thing for the Russell. If this breaks from this fractal and then starts going down, that wouldn't be good. Same thing with Ethereum, Solana, XRP, rejection, all that. Now, let's talk about the bull. What's going to happen? If Bitcoin can miraculously come in here and put a new all-time high, if the Russell can miraculously, pure manipulation, pure insider trading, right? Pure apex predators at the maximum degree, the highest I've ever seen it. But the Russell finds a way to make an all-time high. That makes me bullish. That makes me think that this was a shakeout before a breakout. And I know people say that really loosely, but actually. Same thing for Ethereum. If Ethereum can get, I'm going to be concerned if it gets rejected off the bottom of this range here at 4,300 and then goes lower. That would not be good. But if we put in a daily body close higher, 46, 4,700, that to me is a confirmation of a shakeout. XRP is about 310. Solana is about 216. If you can hold 216, that's a confirmation of a breakout. So that's what I'm thinking right now. BCB thinks bull case very unlikely. much higher chance that we go into a bear market. Maybe, like, I think eventually, now this is what I'll say too, like, this definitely, we're showing the kink in the armor, so to speak. We're seeing major flaws in the market. But how long is that going to take to play out? Because guess what? Like, right now, there's no liquidity downside. So I know for sure we're not, you know, whether we retrace rejection and go on to make a new low, that's not going to happen. This is I think that the 28-day low is already in, no matter what. No matter what, the 28-day low is in. And here's what we have in the next 28 days. The government is going to reopen. They're going to cut rates again. 19 pending Solana ETF approvals. You know, so there's lots of things. The trade wars are going to find a way to miraculously figure themselves out. Now, do I think that we have 2, 3, 5 legs higher? No, I do not. But I think if we're going to make another low, it wouldn't be until after we make another high. People are giving BCB his flowers, and that's great. I have a lot of respect for BCB. BCB did not predict this. He did not predict a double black swan. He was predicting distribution. Okay? Not the same thing. And for me, as an analyst, there's no one that I respect more than BCB as a technical analyst. But he didn't predict this. Okay? No one predicted it. Ski. War. What is it good for? Nothing. Lining the pockets of BlackRock and Boeing. That's what it's good for. All because of the tweet. Right? And then, like, you know, the funny thing about the tweet is like, what was it? Like, I don't know, 8 hours later, the next day? When was it? They're like, whoopsies, a Sagittarius. Evan, brother, thank you for the hat and mustache. You savage.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Make sure you guys follow Evan. Alan, thanks for the gifts. Marco, thanks for the gifts. You savages. What else are you streaming on? TikTok's lagging. I'm live everywhere. But whatever you do, if you're watching on TikTok, for whatever you do, do not leave the platform. I would never ask you or advocate for you to leave TikTok to go to YouTube. Never. Never that. I would never do that. Big brother, please. I would never tell anyone to leave this platform. Never. Whatever you do, don't leave this platform. Don't go to YouTube. Don't follow me there and subscribe. Never. Thoughts on Exiana Rose? Music sounds good. Testing my lens with the camera tonight. Brother, was you using it this morning? Because it looked, your picture, no diddy, looked real creamy. It looked real good. It looked real good. Buy Solana Coin. Solana Coin held up beautifully, right? That's the whole thing. Guess what Solana didn't do? Like a lot of blue chip coins. I've been fighting stubbornly, tooth and nail. People are like, Ski, pay the $80,000 to get it listed on these scam exchanges. Pay $80,000, Ski, to get it listed on these scam exchanges. And then pay them $10,000 a month to trade against your community. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. And guess what? Because you can only buy Solana on a DEX. Guess what wasn't exploited during the Black Swan? DEXs. So yeah, some people panic sold. But it was down like 7% when like Ethereum on some exchanges got to $300. Insanity. So listen, BYOB has never been more prevalent. Be your own bank. Be your own bank. Be your own bank. You guys need to figure out the DeFi ecosystem. How can you do crypto? The whole point of crypto is not to have Big Brother tell you whether or not you could buy something. No, that's not the point. The point is to be your own bank. Sovereignty. Those are the ethos of crypto. Don't forget it. It's not money go up technology. I know that people think that that's what crypto is market cap go up technology. That's not what it is. That is not the tech of crypto. The tech of crypto is BYOB, be your own bank, DeFi, sovereignty, freedom. That is the ethos of crypto. You trade often. Way too many fake accounts. Inviting us to WhatsApp. Brother, I say it every single day. I will never message you. If your boy Skis Crypto is messaging you, guess what? It is not me. It's somebody from Pakistan, Kakistan, Afghanistan. It is not me. It's not me. All right. So check it out, guys. I'm going to put this out. I have started a new challenge. Trading $1,000 to $100,000. And I will be live trading in the mornings, Monday through Thursday. It will be for members only. Members only. So it's going to be TikTok members, YouTube members, Telegram members. So those streams are going to be for members only, where I'm going to be trading, live trading. The goal is $1,000 to $100,000. Once we get to $100,000, I will buy $50,000 worth of Solnic in one go. So if you guys want to see that and be a part of that, make sure you guys become a member on YouTube, TikTok. Support the work. La 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 la. All right, so let's check out some of these comments. Steak and ketchup. No steak and ketchup. Question, Ski. Bitcoin dominance does seem to look like it's rolling over. Is Sol 216 the area to take off at? Hearing rumors ETF. No, Siri, get away. Go away. Get out of here. Uh, 216 is an area to be cautioned at, but if Bitcoin dominance rolls over, it just means that we had a very violent way of getting to what we've been talking about for years. Long time lurker here. Can you look up SHX? Keep streams going. I love watching them. Go Browns. I'm tired of the Browns breaking my heart. Yeah, I'll look up SHX. Love the channel and your contribution. Much love, my guy. I appreciate that. Much love to you. That's what she said. What is that fractal you're referring to? This was a previous lesson that we were talking about. Not a lesson, but a previous live stream. I guess it is a lesson because I did go pretty deep on it. So you could check out my most recent video. Altseason starts now. I go over the fractal, but I'll give you the cliff notes. The fractal is pulled from the C19 crash. This is the fractal. So from the right in here to the C19 crash to the distribution of the Russell. It wasn't until the distribution, aka this chopping at the top, that's when Altseason was. It wasn't before then. And so the fractal is from here. It's a little bit scrunched, but it's this is from right here to answer your question. So there you go. It's from the Russell. Pega, thanks for becoming a member. Yeah,
But
Savage.
the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
Speaking of insider trading, I don't want people to inside trade Solnick. Creamy is crazy. What up, Crip? What? Is it still a bull run? I think so. Guess what? There's money to be made either way. Are decentralized exchanges as secure as centralized exchanges? They are more secure. They are more secure. Because a decentralized exchange isn't going to stop you from pulling your money off. Every bear market, that's what happens. Coinbase stops allowing you to withdraw. Binance stops allowing you to withdraw. FTX goes to zero. You can't withdraw your funds. What was the other big one in 2021? There was a lot that went to zero, but there was two like big ones. There was one that I was using, but I didn't have very much money on there because I already know the lessons of the bear markets. The lessons are every stinking bear market, there will be a big player exchange that goes to zero, and everyone with all their money on that crypto will lose their money. That is the lesson of every single bear market. And guess what this exploitation was? It was an exploitation of the exchanges again. Again. It's like it's the SpongeBob meme. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Every single time. Voyager was a big one. There was another one. I want to say it starts with a B. I think there was a pretty big one that starts with a B. I think it was blue. I can't even remember what it was called, but that was the one I was using. Voyager was definitely a big one. What was the other one? But yeah, they're more secure. The security is an illusion. It's an illusion of security because it's not in our hands. But the point of cryptocurrency is putting the security in your own hands. Learning those steps of being sovereign. The security is in your own hands. If you take the proper protocol, it is secure. But we have an illusion of security, just like you have an illusion of security when you go to a job and you work for another man. You have an illusion that this is a safe, secure thing. But in reality, when times inevitably get hard, who are they going to cut first? Themselves or you? Are they going to cut their paycheck first or yours? So is it really more safe? Is it really more secure? It's the same thing. The exchanges. When times inevitably get hard, whose mouth are they feeding, not going to feed first? Themselves or you? You can avoid that. Was the Russell a point of measure for Altseason? Yes, it was. It absolutely was. It was the measure. BlockFi was the one. BlockFi, that was the one. Yes. There was a lot of them. BlockFi, yep, that was the one. Would Ethereum ever do that? Would Ethereum ever do what? I'm happy you got the soundboard back. Yeah, BlockFi was the one I was thinking of. But listen, I've been in this space since 2013. I promise you, every bear market, that is the lesson. Every bear market, there will be an exchange. There has been, there will be an exchange that goes to zero. And everyone that has their money on there will lose their money. Every time. Every time. Guess what? This point cannot be stressed enough. This double black swan that we had was an exploitation again by the exchanges. Whether we go into a bear market, whether we go off to Valhalla, guess what? This exploit that took place on Friday was a crack in the castle. It was a kink in the armor of the exchanges. And that chicken is going to come home to crow, just like it always does. Just like it always does. Would Ethereum go to... Ethereum's not going to zero. Ethereum is not an exchange. Ethereum is a crypto. Ethereum is a decentralized exchange. What I'm talking about is the exchanges where you hold your money. You know, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken. There are some that are more safe than others, but there's little ones that, you know, MEXC is a scam exchange. For sure. MEXC is a scam exchange. Binance, you know, that's a big one that probably isn't going to fail, but my God. Not because they care about your money. No, Ethereum is a 20-year candidate hold. It's a 20-year candidate hold. Coinbase is solid. Coinbase is solid. They seem too big to fail. But so did FTX last cycle. MEXC is my go-to. It's the best. MEXC is a straight-up scam. MEXC is fine if you don't have over $1 million. If you have over $1 million, ask the white whale how the MEXC is treating him. My man's had like $10 million on there. He just cannot get it. They want him to do an in-person verification. I've never heard of that in my life. That is a scam. No, I will not recommend MEXC to anyone. I will not be recommending MEXC to anyone, for sure. Okay. Lola. If that's how, am I saying your name right? Lola. I think that's how you say your name. Okay. I'm going to give you a nice representation of what every exchange is like. Okay? Every single exchange is like a public restroom. Okay? Every single exchange is like a public restroom. Now, there are some really nice, clean public restrooms. There are some pretty ghetto public restrooms with graffiti and people's phone numbers on there, right? But it's still a public restroom. Okay? You should not be, no matter how clean a public restroom is, you shouldn't just be on there bare cheeks like scrolling on TikTok. That's for your house restroom. Okay? An exchange is like a public restroom. Whether it's clean or dirty, it's still public. And it's still not going to be as clean and as secure as your own toilet. So what do you do then? If you must use a public restroom, we've all been there. You get in, you do your business, and then you get out. That is how you utilize a public restroom. It's not to be just bare cheeks scrolling on TikTok. No, that's not what a public restroom is for. You're not going to take your shoes off at a public restroom. Get in, do your business, and get out. I use lots of exchanges, but I view them all as public restrooms. I view them all as a public restroom. Now I try to use the clean ones, right? They clean it every shift. Those are the ones that I want to use. But I still view them all as public restrooms. the best place to secure your crypto is not on an exchange. It's on a hardware wallet. It's on a software wallet. Phantom is a good free place to store your crypto. Exodus is a good free place to store your crypto. Ledger is a good hardware wallet. What was the other one that I've been using? It's solid. I just got it in the mail. Decent's a solid hardware wallet. There's lots of free options that you can secure your crypto freely. And if you need to on or off ramp it, then you send it to the exchange. And then you send it to your bank. But don't just leave it there. It's a public restroom. If you're in my Telegram group, my Bitcoin limit order just got filled. I just got a notification. I think Phantom is the best all-around free app to use. Decent is really good. Not your keys, not your crypto. Phantom is like your own personal toilet. It's nice and clean. You just cleaned it yourself. And you've been the only one that's using it. Ain't nobody else using this. How much downside on alts if we in a bear market? We're going to get a dead cat bounce to a retracement. Worst case scenario. And then we would put in a lower low. Yep, that is the problem. Is there a way to set limits? Yes, there is, like via a DEX. Okay, so a hardware wallet is a place that you can store your crypto, or a software wallet is a place that you can store your crypto. But there are DEXs like Jupiter, like Hyperliquid, like Radium that you absolutely can set limit orders. Phantom is a good free software app to use that is very solid. You can do Bitcoin on there. You can do Ethereum. You can do the Solana ecosystem. They have a card. How often do you go live? I go live usually Monday through Friday. I'm going to be going live in the mornings as well. So starting this week, tomorrow, I'll be going live twice a day. But the morning live stream is just going to be members only, and we're going to be live trading. The evening live stream is going to be like looking at charts, TA, answering people's questions, whether it's basic crypto questions or whether it's more in depth, like, TA, price targets. I answer a little bit of everything. So what is the call for this month into November? How do I become a member? On TikTok. You can just, I think it's called a subscriber on TikTok. Yep, you just subscribe to TikTok for the live trading. That's right. Excited for the journey with you, Ski. You got VIP. What's members only? So we're doing a challenge. I just started this. The challenge is trading $1,000 to $100,000, and I will be, putting out all the trades, what I'm looking for, why I'm looking for, what are my stop losses, what are my take profits, all that stuff, and sort of like, I'll be talking through what am I looking for and why am I making these decisions. Do I still see altcoin season this year? Yes, I think there's a very strong chance. All right, let's go back to the Russell. So even with, I think you were here. Monica, were you here last week when we were talking about the Russell? I pulled this Fractal This fractal right here is from the C19 crash into the distribution, okay? And then I put it over here, and I said this is the same structure. All right, now, the crazy thing is when I zoom in and show you this major liquidation candle that happened on the Russell 2000. Where did this go? Here it is. This is insane. So let me zoom out. There you go. You can see this is the same structure. And then look, we even had, this is crazy. It's like we even had this big giant liquidation candle on the Russell too. Look at this. Look at, that's insane that happened. Okay, so let's go back to the Russell. The Russell 2000, basically, what is the Russell 2000? Is basically the altcoins of the stock market. And what this signals, when the Russell 2000 breaks out, it signals risk on assets. What are risk on assets? Risk on assets are crypto. Okay? So now, it wasn't until the Russell got into the buying climax and started to chop sideways at the top here. This was when Altseason happened. We'll show you Ethereum. I'll show you two examples. We'll do two examples to kind of like cement it, but you could do 100 examples. Yeah, I could do 1,000 examples, but we'll do two. All right, I have Ethereum circled. Okay, this is the buying climax. That's the buying climax. So at the same time, Ethereum was just barely poking above an all-time high. And then the Russell in 2021 was distributing, aka just trading sideways at the top. This is textbook distribution here, by the way. Textbook. Here's textbook, literally from the text. Buying climax, up thrust goes slightly higher, UTAD goes higher. That's a topping structure. That is what a top looks like. All right? That's exactly what the Russell did in 2021. Now, it was not until after the Russell got into the buying climax and then started to distribute. That's when Altseason happened. Look at Ethereum. Ripping. I'll show you another coin. Someone give me a coin that existed in 2021. And we'll look at it. Someone give me a coin. We'll look at it. Because I'm not even going to like cherry pick. If it existed in 2021, we'll do that. ADA. Okay, ADA is a great example. ADA, great example. All right, it's hard to even see it, but I have it circled. ADA is an even better example. So this is the same. This white circle, you can barely see it. We're going to line it up. So when I scroll, let's put these the same. I'm going to give it the same proportion when I scroll. Getting closer. There we go. One more. Okay. So this is the circle of the Russell getting into the buying climax. Now look, as I scroll on the Russell going into distribution, what is ADA doing? Ripping. It's hard, like you can't even see it. All right. It wasn't until the Russell went into distribution that's when actual Altseason happened. So that was a 2,250% move for ADA as the Russell was distributing. So there you go. Boom. Come on now. What time is your live trading in the morning? 8 to 10 is when I'll be looking for trades. Did you predict the crash? I did not. This is a proper black swan. By very definition, a black swan, no one could have predicted it. I did not predict the crash. I did not predict the crash. Guess what? It was a black swan. By very definition, no one could have predicted it. Next time, just accumulate Bitcoin. Did Baron predict the black swan? Ha! He might have. Baron might have been the only one. Throw that dude in jail. I'm on the Telegram. I'll be able to watch. Yes, you will. One guy with a giant short did. Yeah, that was Baron. That was the joke. GM predicted it. Ha! Yep. So what's the Russell at now? The Russell at right now is trying. It just made an all-time high last week. It's still on an uptrend. And I made the case that it's following this fractal from the C19 crash. This is, this fractal right here is the C19 crash into the altcoins. And I made the case that the tariff crash in April structurally was the same. So there you go. That's what I think that the Russell's doing. Why do you call Friday a double black swan? Where's the second? Okay, for two reasons. Number one, I've been in this space since 2013. That was the craziest day by a lot that I ever remember in crypto. I've been in this space for over 10 years. That was the craziest day in crypto that I've ever seen. That's number one. But the real reason I'm calling it a double black swan because technically you had a white swan and a black swan. That would be the actual technical thing that happened. Okay. I'm calling it a double black swan because it's easier to say that than saying we had a white swan then a black swan. But technically, by the lay of the law, by definitional, by the definition, Trump tweeting about the tariffs on China is a white swan. So you could say, and I'll explain what a white swan is an event that affects the financial markets that is foreseeable. Okay. So you could make the argument that Trump tweeting about tariffs was a white swan. Trump implementing tariffs on China was a white swan event. You could make the case. You could also make a case it was a black swan, but by definition, we'll call it a white swan. Okay. Now, this is why I was calling it a double black swan. And there needs to be a separation. Okay. Now, Trump making the tweets was not, I repeat, was not the reason that the market crashed like crazy. I say again, was not. That was because of an exploitation by the centralized exchanges. Binance, their stablecoin depegged. There was an exploitation because of the depegging caused a lot of the assets, like Ethereum on some exchanges got to $300. No stop losses were hit. Anyone on cross margin got liquidated. That was a black swan. And that was a separate event entirely, even though it kind of is like it's wrapped up under the same thing, because that's what the apex predators do. They'll look for any crisis to exploit people, basically. But that was not the same event. It was the same day. It was within the same hour. It was not the same event. It was an entirely different event. And that was the reason that the market, that was the reason that $19 billion got liquidated, was not because of a tweet from Trump. It was because of an exploitation and insider trading. $247. Crypto Glenn is swearing he predicted it. Okay. The Yin Yang Swans. Damn, that's a bar. Do you still think Altseason will go up into 2026? There is a very strong case to be made that this was a spring to catapult us into the next leg. Biracial swans. Biracial swans is crazy. China. Yeah, listen, a lot of stuff I think is finding good footing, and we're going to have at least a bare minimum of a dead cat bounce. Market manipulation, plain and simple, 100%. Crazy if this is what triggers it. LGBTQ plus swans. Oh my God. Is it a good time to buy? I think so. I think there's a lot of value. I wouldn't, I would be cautious with leverage, but I think spot is fine. The spot traders, guess what? The spot buyers, their portfolios went down a bit, but they didn't get liquidated. I think 99% of people are better off. Said it once. Said it 100 times. I think 99% of people are better off just trading spot. But you think we're going to do a leg down more at some point, but I think a leg up first. Spot for the win. EcoFusion says, hey, Ski, just joined. Do we always have a massive correction before next leg up in bull runs? Okay. All right. I have been in this space since 2013. That was the craziest day in crypto that I have ever seen, that I have ever experienced. Okay. I'm not going to pretend like that was a normal day in crypto because it wasn't. We're not going to see a day like that again for a very long time. Okay. And two things can be true at one time. That was the craziest day that I've ever experienced in crypto. And it is true. Not that violent, not that crazy. That was the most crazy, the most violent that I've ever experienced. It's the most crazy, the most violent that I've ever seen. It is true. Most of the times you have a maximum pain capitulation, upside and downside, before reversing. I do think that, Glenn. The Web, thanks for the $2 donation.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
And yes, I think everything will have that. Will do that minimum. Talk about insider trading. 100% was insider trading. 100%. Gav's dad, thanks for the roses.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
All right, reminder. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time, I will be live trading for members only. That is YouTube, that is TikTok. So you can become a subscriber on TikTok, you can become a member on YouTube. And we are doing a challenge from $1,000, trading $1,000 to $100,000. I'll be talking through all of my trades. I'll give you guys my entries, my exits, my stop losses, my leverage, the margin that I'll be using, all of that. So we're doing a challenge from $1,000 to $100,000, and I'll be live trading Monday through Thursday for members only. So if you guys want to be a part of that, you can subscribe on TikTok and you can become a member on YouTube. And once I reach that goal, I will be buying $50,000 worth of Solnic in one buy. How much to get into the challenge? It's just become a subscriber on TikTok if you want to watch. Will there be swing trading? Can I copy trade? You can copy trade indirectly. I'm not doing a direct copy trade account, but I will be discussing what setups I'm looking for so I'm not just gonna like boom, we're winging into a trade. Just like this morning on the members only, I did the macro analysis and then we went micro, and I said this is the range that I was looking for. Here's where a back test to here looks like a good spot, and then that's exactly what it did. So it's not going to be a direct copy trading, but you're going to see live. Like, I will talk through what I'm thinking, why I'm thinking it, what leverage I'm going to be using, what margin I'm going to be using, what assets I'll be using beforehand. 8 to 10 a.m. Central Time. Yes, it will be for members only. So you have to become a subscriber on TikTok or a member on YouTube. Elevate your third eye. Thanks for becoming a member. Yes, Savage. George, thanks for becoming a member. Yes, Savages.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
You certainly can, Punky. You don't have to do anything. He says, can I follow the trades but buy spot and just use larger margin? You certainly can. You don't have to do anything. You can just watch the show. You don't have to do anything. I'm not... Buy more Solnic. Yep, so that's what I'll be doing. $1,000 to $100,000 challenge. Once the challenge is complete, I will be buying $50,000 worth of Solnic in one buy. Are you in the Telegram, Punky? Because it will be on there as well. Price target for AVAX to de-risk. I'll be using BitUnex. Punky, are you in the Telegram? $27. I don't know how to do that, brother. Hit me in the DMs. I'll give you a member. I'll give you the Telegram membership. Said just subscribe. Let's get it. Is it over for VeChain? No. Is ICP dead? No. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this time. Appreciate you guys for rocking with me. I'll be live Friday, 9 a.m. with Alex. Usually I'm live this time in the evening, give or take. And I will also be doing the trading challenge in the mornings, Monday through Thursday. It's going to be, we'll be looking for setups for about 2 hours. I'll just tell you guys the rules now. I'm not going to trade just to trade. I'm be looking for setups. If I don't get a setup, then I'm not going to trade. I'm not going to revenge trade. I'm not going to chase losses. I'm not going to trade if I'm drinking. I'm not going to, which I won't be drinking anyways, but yeah, certain things like that. But yeah, that's going to be Monday through Thursday for the members only for YouTube and for TikTok members. So if you want to be a part of that, subscribe on TikTok and become a member on YouTube. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys. How to become a member on YouTube. Head over to YouTube and do the membership. AM drinking. Are you opening or closing while live? Okay, so Sarah, this is one thing I put out in the Telegram. If I'm in a trade for more than 72 hours, it means I didn't have the right setup. So that would mean it's a mistake. The goal would be to open and close within the same live stream. It doesn't mean it's always going to happen, but that's going to be the goal. When does 1K challenge start? It's already started, Catherine. But I will be live tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central Time. 8 a.m. Central Time. 8 a.m. Central Time. All right, guys. That's going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless.